can start episode 8 with some good news. I've received a notification today that the 582 has been ordered, so hopefully it'll be about 4 weeks before I can pick that up. They've got the engine in stock, it's just waiting for the exhaust and the gearbox to be delivered. So that's good. That gives me a bit of a time scale for when I've got to have that bulkhead sprayed up. The weather's still too damp or too cold. It's warmed up at the moment, it's about 12 degrees, not too bad at all, but that's because it's chucking down rain out there. So in preparation for that, a friend of mine, Tony, has lent me a fan heater. So I've got that ready. I've also got an oil powered heater that I can bring in with the lights. Hopefully we can get it up to about 16 or maybe even 18 degrees in here when the humidity obviously gets a little bit better. So I'll choose a day where it's quite bright and sunny, but chances are it'll be cold because we'll be in February, or we are in February now. But hopefully with all of this running we can just lift it up enough just to get that bulkhead sprayed and keep the paint looking nice. Work's been a bit slow this week. I've been a bit distracted. We've been invited to a birthday party this weekend, so a bit of preparation for that. It's fancy dress. So what am I going to go as? Well, it's farm themed. So the obvious thing is big wheels on the back, little wheels on the front. I'm going to go as a tractor. Can anybody guess what sort of what this is? Yep, it's going to be a John Deere. So we've been fiddling around with that. Got a few more bits and pieces to do. I'm accessorising. I'm quite proud of my cardboard over and under that I've made. So just going to paint the bowels up on that and put a few finishing touches. I think that's worked out quite well. So yeah, as you can see, been a bit distracted. We'll be back on the plane probably tomorrow night, trying to work out whether to start work on the prop or whether to start work on stripping the wheels off and taking a look at the brakes. I'm going to put new tyres and possibly tubes on there, so I need to see about getting those ordered. And I'm thinking that's probably going to be next. I want to do a bit more research on restoring the propeller before I dive in. So I think the brakes are going to be the most straightforward thing to do first. So that's me tonight. A little bit of painting, a bit of fiddling, a bit more paint, a bit more work on the plane tomorrow. I'm going to have a look at the brakes next, which means I've got to get the wheels off. In the manual it says to do this you've got to jack the fuselage up, and it says to do that to make a padded board which can be placed underneath the fuselage between the landing gear hanging point and no further forward than 36 inches, but obviously there's a few other bits and pieces that are between those points. So what I've made is this board, padded board, bit of plywood with some doubled over cardboard on it, just to go between the landing gear and where this mounting point is for the wing struts. So that should, I'm hoping now, fit quite nicely in there, and then I can jack it up. So that's where I'm hoping it'll go. So we should be able to get my jack into there just to lift these wheels up off the ground slightly. I only need to do one at a time, and we can then inspect those brakes. Got the jack in place. I had to lift it up a little bit because I didn't have the travel to get it off the ground there. So let's see how this goes. Nice and carefully does it. I think that's all I'm going to need, really. So it rocks a little bit. I have to be careful when I'm working on it. I'm only going to take one wheel off at a time. So now I've got the clearance. Let's start work. So here we are at the wheel. Let's see how we can get this off. Okay, camera battery went flat, but it was just a case of undoing the split pin and undoing the nut and then wiggling the wheel off the shaft. So we've got a couple of bearings either side. It's a split rim, so I'm just going to undo it and get the tyre and the tube off then, and I'm going to clean this up. May even get a bit of the old special Autosol treatment. Interesting, is a Vredestein tyre. And I just noticed on here it says max speed 30 kilometers an hour, which is quite interesting because you are definitely exceeding that when you touch down. Right, just to make sure this goes back the same way as it came off, I'm going to put a mark on there and a mark on there, and then we can be sure it all lines up. There's a spacer in there as well that I've got to be very careful not to lose between my two bearings. Okay. So this is the one side, and the other side, obviously got the tube going through it. Spacer, don't lose that. Amazing stuff, WD-40. Truly amazing. Right, well I can leave those together for now. So this is what I'm shopping for. 3.5 by 6. But I've got a different mate that's been recommended to me by Fiona. So I'll get on the internet later and see what I can find. Let's see whether we can clean these up now and make them look a little bit better. This is the back of the split rim, which includes the brake drum and the brake lining. I've cleaned that up a bit with a bit of wet and dry. It's a little bit rusty around the edge, but I don't think that will be a big problem. And the passion for that polishing continues. So the outer part of the rim I've cleaned up and give it a bit of the Ultrasol treatment. So I think that's looking a lot better. So in the next bit we will be doing the strip down of the brake shoes and cleaning up of the brakes themselves.